Hello everyone, this is Wandering Scott and it's time for another progress update on my Gypsy Caravan project. I've got most of the construction phase completed now. I've just got the infrastructure stuff left. I've got all of this interior pretty well done, and I'm just going to give you a little walkthrough. I also want to show you, last time I talked about the door, and I was going to show you how that works when it's down. And I didn't show you that. I'll put the top down today, and I'll show you how the door functions when it's open and closed, and then I'll give you a run through of some of the other stuff I've done. One of the things I've done is I've finished building my dinette, and I'll move the camera so I can show you around here. There's my map right there. Yeah, so here's the dinette installed there. I've got cushions that I've made with covers. I just finished those today. Thanks to my mom for helping me with those. This is 6-inch thick, high-density upholstery foam with a super heavy-duty upholstery fabric. Just real simple, just wrapped around and sewed along each end, and then the little corner ears just tucked in there, so there's a slot in the back which I'm going to put some Velcro along to hold it. It's a little tad loose, so I'm going to put some Velcro along that back open seam where the foam goes in. Other than that, it's pretty nice. So this is my table. Can't remember if I didn't have that done last time. And also, as you can see, I've got tile down here on the floor now, vinyl tile. And then, so this table I've put on, there's a little track over here along the wall. And the cool thing about this is that it actually slides on this track. So makes it really easy to get sort of in and out. So if I can do this from, I'll just back off here. Okay, so you can see that this table will move, the full width of the aisle, which is 30 inches. And you can, get in and out really easy that way. Sit down, you can pull the table closer to you, push it farther away. And it also makes it easier to get in and out of, so these, bottom cabinets down here. So you can get in and out of those. And then also the upper cabinets up here, so you can reach those really easy up here. Otherwise you have to reach over the table, and it just slides on that. It's got a that's my leg. I'll show you the leg I built here if I can get down here. Down on the bottom of this leg, so this is just a 2x2. I mean, I just took a chunk of 2x2 here and a chunk of 2x2 here, and I did some angle pieces, and this is actually 2 pieces of 1x4 that I laminated together. I could just use a 2x4, but and I got some red oak down here because this is a foam core table, so there's no real internal structure to this. So I glued and screwed these. There's one on the front and one on the back behind this that are screwed and glued onto the table just to give it some more structural integrity so it doesn't pull out. And then this has got a bolt going through it here, holding that together, and then there's 5 screws going down from the top, and that's all glued together and then sanded and stained and varnished, so that's a single solid piece. And so this was just a 2x2, and then I just slowly sanded it down more and more and more round until the bottom is a nice round dowel sort of thing. And then I got an adjustable leg piece. It's got a bracket that screws in, and then the leg screws into that, and it's adjustable. And I put a piece of felt. There's a piece of felt on the bottom of that, which is what makes it really slide. I was actually going to originally put a wheel. I got a caster wheel actually left over from the trailer that I didn't use because this Harbor Freight trailer folds up, and you're supposed to be able to put there's these caster wheels that you can roll it into your garage or whatever once the trailer's folded up. But I obviously didn't use that because this trailer will never fold up again. So I was going to use one of those wheels, but this just ended up being much, much easier, just putting felt on there. And it slides, as you can see, it just slides, really smooth. And that way it won't scuff the tile or anything. And then on the back of this, if you can get down in here, on the back side, if you can see that, there's a locking bracket, hinge on that. And it's just got a little lever right there. You pull down, and then the leg pushes up. And I don't know if I can do this with one hand while I'm still holding the camera, but anyway, that's, you can see that, if I can, yeah, there we go. It's hard to do this with one hand, but sorry about the camera action there. Anyway, that will go all the way up like that underneath, and then it locks into place. Okay, so there's that. And then it comes off of that bracket over there, and down here I put some rail down here that table will then sit down on for the bed. But I'm not going to do that right now because that's definitely a two-hand deal. But I am going to go ahead and just put that down, and it locks into place. So that's probably a really bad visualization of that. But barring having two hands to work with, I guess I could have put this on my camera on my tripod. But anyway, that's, this is just a standard, bed conversion. So the table just drops down onto those two rails. And then the cushions, you just pull those out. And I measured them, this is 2 feet for the bottom ones, 13 inches for the top ones, and those measure out to 74 inches, which is my full width. So I got a 74-inch bed, which is nice. It's a really nice wide bed. That's why I went with the extra overhang on the trailer. And it's, 4 feet wide. Well, minus over here. Get that out of the way. I built, because of the lifts here, I had this little gap space here, so I built these little cubbies here to cover that. Okay, let me just move these cushions out of the way so you can see them better. Okay, so I built these little, they're just a little book rack. It's got, 3 inches or something like that, gives me to put maps and, that kind of stuff on there. So, anyway, I'll put my cushions back down there. And, put some throw pillows maybe or something. But anyway, I've got one of those on either side. Slide that over, and then over there you can see there's another one right down in there, if you can see it. Here, let me, I'm actually going to pull this down. A little sunny today. Yeah, so anyway, so there's a nice little, cubby in there for some, whatever, books and things of that nature. So it's not quite, that full width of that was 4 feet. So my bed will be just a tad, 3 inches shorter than 4 feet wide, but that's fine. Okay, so let's see. Tile. We got the dinette bed. And I think, let's see, oh yeah, and over here, I've got some laminate now on my melamine countertop here that I put on, a nice kind of marble top here that sort of somewhat matches the table. It's lighter. Obviously the table's lighter than this, but looks nice and matches with the tempered glass tops of the sink. This is a sink, by the way. I don't know if I've ever shown you that, but this is the sink, and there'll be obviously I haven't put it together yet. There's a fold down faucet in here. So that's coming up on my next project's plumbing. And then propane for for the stove, and then electrical and all that. And then I will put eventually, like I said, I'll put a backsplash on this. I just want to get some sort of 3-inch tile, ceramic tile or something maybe to put along there to finish that off. Okay, then let's see. I've still got my electrical hooked up here because I haven't got my solar in yet. But another thing I did was I put this on. This is kind of a custom screen door. So I've got screens on these windows. They have a nice, each of these has a screen on it, but for this door I didn't have a screen. So my solution for that was to take a roller blind. I got a nice roller blind. It's got a really nice slow action, and I replaced like 3.5 feet of or something with this bug netting. It's just like it's a really fine, you can see it, it's just like for fine insects, like gnats and stuff like that. And down here, you see I made a little pull handle. I mean, this is the handle that came with it, but it was on like a round metal tube. So I just took a piece of that, that red oak, and I cut a groove down it. And I took this mesh and folded it over a piece of double-sided sticky tape and crammed it down in that little groove, and put a set of little brass screws through there to hold it in place. And then this just goes down in, it goes right between these, this little fuzzy stuff here, so that I can push it down lower to have it hold right at the door level and seal, completely seal. Now the only part that's a problem is that this is actually, down here, it pushes against the trim, but as it goes farther up, because of the distance of the bracket that holds it to 1/2 inch, there's a little bit of gap here, so I just put these clever little, these are just little pieces of the red oak on it. It's got just a washer underneath, and I just put those on there so they'll hold that tight against the trim, and that creates a seal so that no bugs can get in. Of course, the door's closed, so bugs aren't going to get in anyway. So let me just put this up, and you just pull down on it, and in theory, yeah, it just, whoops, sorry, let me show you what's going on here. Okay, so that just goes up. Let me push the door open, and here's another thing I'll show you in just a sec. My door only opens that far now, because I've got an awning out here now. But let me do this. Let me just go ahead and put this down, back down in, and like I said, it goes through the little fuzzy stuff. You got to kind of push that down a little bit, and then it locks underneath of this fuzzy stuff right here. And then again, just push up these things here. It's kind of a, like a rinky-dink homemade kind of a thing, but it does the job. And then that way I've got a nice open door with a screen, and you can see through it perfectly fine. Breeze gets through, and no bugs can. So that should keep me sealed in here without, when you're down there in Louisiana and all, where there's tons of little bugs and stuff in the Carolinas and whatnot. Marshland midges in the Florida evergreens. So anyway, so that's just how my funky little kind of system works here. It's sort of a work in progress, but it does work. So that's and then it's got this kind of cool slow action where it just goes up and it just stops right, because of the bar that I put on. It just stops right at that level where I want it, which is nice, and I could fold these up if I want to, but whatever. Anyway, that's my solution for the screen. I had all kinds of ideas how to do it, and that's kind of what I came up with, and it works. So that's that's really all that matters. So okay, so I think that's everything in here that I've done. So let's just go on outside now, and I'll show you what I've done out here. So, yeah, okay, let me back up here because I told you I had a awning on now. So there it is. It's a little fold down awning, automatic. It's got a automatic retract feature. So you just loosen up the brackets here, and there's a little pull strap, and it'll just goes in, and it pulls out. It's on a spring load, so it works really well. But you can see, of course, it blocks the door. Now these legs actually come down. There's a little locking bracket here that this comes out, and these are stake holes, and you can put the brackets so they go straight up and down here. So in that case, I can actually open the door further, but I don't know if I'll ever bother to do that because it doesn't give you any extra height, and then you have to stake the things down, and I don't really want to bother with that. So I don't see any reason to ever just leave it like that. And the door, the door opens far enough. I don't need it to open any farther than that. So the only problem, of course, with that was that I had that cool magnetic thing, right, that kept the wind from blowing the door closed, and it was over here on the corner, and the little magnet part, whatever, was here. You can see now it's over there in the corner. Maybe you can see. It's right there now. And this actually works better because it actually solved the other problem with the magnet was so strong I couldn't pull it from inside. Now, because the magnet attaches from the side, it's not as strong. It's much easier to pull off, but it will stay, and the wind won't blow it off. And the cool thing, check this out, is you can just literally it's got a little spring in it, so if you just literally push on the door, it pops off, and then it just closes all by itself. It doesn't quite close all the way, but you know. Anyway, so from the inside, all you gotta do is literally just push on the door, or so there's where it's locked, and you can actually pull. You can now pull on that, and before I couldn't do that, but now I can, so that works fine. But then also you can just push on the door, and it detaches from the magnet. So and then just close it up. So that solves that problem. I do need to do a little touch up on my paint job there. I already touched the door up a little bit. It's not quite good enough. You can still see it a little bit, but let's see what else. Okay, so I was going to show you the door, how it functions when it's up and down. I got some additional little, put some little geckos on there. Just give it a little extra flair. So let me, and then, okay, so the other thing I need to tell you about the awning. So this is an 8 foot by 8 foot awning, and it's still 8 foot wide, but it's now only 6 feet deep. I had to cut 2 feet off of these bars, so I had to do a custom cut job on all of this and put it back together, because if anybody's had an awning on an RV before, you'll know that this, when the awning goes into the side of the RV, the legs have to go, these have to shrink down so they can fit up and down here. So because this top goes up and down, I only have 36 inches, like 3 feet or whatever, a little more. And so, in the full height of this, it was like 5.5 feet or something. So it wouldn't work. So I had to chop that down. And what that ultimately did is it lost 2 feet off of the distance out here. So I'm only got 6 feet of awning instead of 8 feet out of awning. But that's fine. It's still, I just wanted to keep the rain off the door, and the sun out of the window, and that's still ample for that. So, now it folds up perfectly fine up against the side of the top section. And when I put it down, I'm not gonna put the awning down because it's a two-hand job for sure. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this door down, and again, here's the control panel here, and I'm gonna put this. Make sure. Oh, actually, let me. See, this is one thing you have to watch out for these tops. I have this little tripod I was using here. That would probably put a hole right through the ceiling, so I don't want to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put this up because I can. So, okay, let me get back out, sorry. Anyway, so I'm just going to put this, I'll pull this out so you can see it. I'm just going to put this down. One is all the way down. I've got it all the way up, which is 4. And again, you can just go up and down. Just move it up and down. And if you look over there, you'll see, okay, that's going down now. And you can just watch it go. I go the windows down in, and I'm just I'm just holding it manually right now, and so you can just stop wherever you want. But I'm going to hit 1, so it goes all the way down. And then you can see the doors shrinking, and it doesn't, you can, let me lock that open. You don't have to close the doors. You can if you want. You don't have to. They work just fine. It's going down. I'll go ahead and close it though, because just so you can see how it works. And I'm going to get out from under the awning. And I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't really because the sun is very bright. But yeah, it'll just get shorter and shorter. And back off over here. You can see that's going down. The awning is perfectly fine. You can leave it out. It doesn't really matter. And it's almost done. And it'll just keep going right down. Yeah, right about there. Okay, so now my awning is still out. Obviously, I would have to put that up, and this makes it actually easier to put the awning up when it's down, because you don't have to reach up so high. It makes it really easy to put the awning away. But anyway, so I'm gonna show you the door. That makes it a little harder with the awning out though, doesn't it? Okay, so anyway, so now the door is down, but you can still open it. You can still lock it. It stays open, and there's how much space you have through here. So in fact, you can actually even reach in here, and there's my control panel right there. So I can actually even put the top up from that. But this is why the door is shorter than the inside wall, because this needs to be able to open. It doesn't need to be able to, since I can reach over it, but in order to open it has to be that low. So let's see. Yeah, so you can see there's the door. Both halves. Oh, that's why, partly again, why they open in opposite directions. And now, you know, you can, you know, open this cabinet door and punch in your whatever. But you can actually also just go in. There's still, you know, kind of ample room in there. I got my nice fan up there, but I can just, you know, I can just get in and sit at my table here. My table. My head does hit a little bit now because of the cushion, but you know, if I sit up like that, I mean, I would probably never leave it down in here and sit. You know, sit. I could put the top up another 6 inches or something. But you know, when the bed's down, that's totally awesome. I can just put my bed down, and there's plenty of room to sleep with the top down. And then, you know, there's the door from the inside while it's down, if you can see that. And then I'll get out and we'll just put the top back up again. So we'll close the door, and let's close the bottom door, and you can see if that's going back up. And like I said again, I mean, you don't need to close the doors, open the doors. You can it'll go up and down either way. It's no big deal. And awning goes up and down just fine when it's open or closed, whichever. And yeah, so door's getting bigger. We'll just go ahead and give it a push close there. And that's how that works. It's a pretty simple operation. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty efficient. It's very smooth. Yeah, it was a little expensive, but I think it's worth it. So I've had a lot of comments on some previous videos about the lift system and stuff. And so if you're interested in the lift system, I've now got all the specs, the pieces, and you know what it costs. And I think it's on the testing the lift system video in the notes there. I put a bunch of a breakdown, and then of course on the blog I've got all that, and I think I've got all that on the blog anyway. If you have any questions, just holler. You know, I'm more than happy to help you. It's Progressive Automations that I got the lift stuff from, and they were very good people to work with and very helpful, and it works, and that's the important thing. It works great. It works efficiently. It's very reliable. It's very strong. And like I said, it's a feedback system, so it doesn't matter how much weight you have on any given corner, side, you know, the awning hanging out, whatever. It makes no difference. The feedback system in the lift control unit reads each corner, and it keeps each corner rising at exactly the same height, no matter how much weight is on any given corner. You could have, you know, I mean, it'll lift 1,600 pounds total, so that's what the total, you know, each one I think will lift, what, 400 pounds or whatever it is. Anyway, but yeah. So, you know, you could have a whole bunch of weight on the front, not very much weight on the back, and it still will lift evenly and smoothly. And all I've got, I don't have any, there's no bearings, nothing, no track. It's just, all it is these corner pieces that touch. That's the only thing that makes it work. There's no moving parts other than the lifts, I guess, inside. But yeah, this is just Danish oil on top of the red oak, and it's smooth and it runs great. So there you go. That's where I'm at. I think that's everything on the Gypsy Caravan for now. So next, I mean, that's the construction. I think I'm pretty much done building it. So it's a kind of a nice feeling to have it pretty much built. I've got all, I mean, still I have all the, infrastructure. I've got all, so, I mean, I need to mount all the solar panels on. That's the next big sort of, construction step. But other than that, it's just electrical and plumbing, and some propane hoses, and it's done. So I will give you an update when I get probably the solar panels will be the next thing to mount those on there, and then I'll give you a run through on that system. But again, if anybody has any questions about like the lift or anything, feel free to holler. It works great. So I've had a lot of people ask about it, and hopefully I've answered their questions. But if not, just let me know. So that is where I'm at right now. So Wandering Scott signing off for now. See you next time.